back to another Train Sim World 3 news video. Now we do have a date for the Niddertalbahn, the long-awaited German diesel, very scenic, cute, I don't know, single-track line. Let's have a read of the article. So, coming soon, Niddertalbahn, Bad Vilbel to Stockheim. Niddertalbahn is coming. It's time to ditch the electrics, so forget those overhead wires and rev up some engines, as our German train sim content goes back to the early 90s and onto a complete diesel-powered branch line. And it will be released on, drum roll, March the 23rd. So that is next Thursday. So this present's a Thursday, as I thought releases were sort of supposed to be Tuesday, but next Thursday. Some of you may have known about the Niddertalbahn for a while. Eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed us slipping out the name of this forthcoming route last September in our Freedom Dev Diary, and we teased a little more of it during the Festival of Rail Spring Summit in February, confirming the DBBR 628.2 DMU in the progress, and it looks beautiful from the screenshots. Dedicated roadmap followers will also know that the route introduces Train Sim Germany to Train Sim World 3 as part of our ongoing partner program. Lovely. So let's have a look. Units, locomotives and services. So passenger trains. Heading up passenger operations on the route is the DBBR 628.2, requested by much of the Train Sim World community over the years. Variants of this dependable unit, built in the 1980s, became widespread across a number of German regions during the 1990s and 2000s, including the branch line between Bad Vilbel and what was then named Stockheim. A striking white and mint green livery appears from before the reunification of Germany in 1989, adding something different to the largely red palette from other German train sim world routes. A simple, practical, utilitarian DMU, similar to that of the British Pacer unit. So it's a German Pacer. The 628 can hit 75 miles an hour, courtesy of a turbocharged V12 diesel engine. A slower pace of life in the rural postcard picture Hesse region brings a different style of play to this route, where punctuality is paramount to ensure trains aren't unduly held at the numerous passing loops along the single track line. Trains operate the full length of the complete branch line between Bad Vilbel and Stockheim, as well as some shorter services between intermediate stations. A total of 54 playable passenger services over a short but a complete route. See a timetable formed that's dependent on good timing. Not only will slow running hold up others, but arriving early will mean your train is waiting before being able to proceed to the next station. So 54 services, some people might be like, ooh, that's not a lot. Remember, it's a single track branch line. That's 24 hours in a day, and I doubt the train's going to be running up until midnight or the early hours of the morning. So really, you've got to bring that down to maybe 18 hours. So 18 divided by, 54 divided by 18 would sort of give you your hourly amount of services, I suppose. So quite a few. Timetable overview. The passenger timetable works to reflect the ebb and flow of off-peak and on-peak services across the route, with an hourly service worked by two trains between the hours, between 0900 and 1200, after which things become busier with the introduction of a third train. Having uncoupled from another, later in the day, this third train recouples with the train it was originally attached to, bringing the service frequency back down again. The afternoon services have a bias away from Frankfurt between 14:50 and 17:16. There are no full-length services in the opposite direction from Stockheim to Bad Vilbel. Instead, trains running from Stockheim during this period will terminate at Austadt and Heldenberg-Windecken, where they are held to allow the other services through. In order to keep the flow of trains moving throughout the day, some services have limited stops, thus allowing others to cross them at passing loops effectively or keep on time. Players that picked up our previous German add-on, the Linker Rheinstrecke, will be able to see non-stop AI services running the BR103 and BR110, and will be able to make use of the 628 on the Linker Rheinstrecke for a number of playable service layers. I think there's about 50 services on the Linker Rheinstrecke if you get Niddertalbahn. Joining the passenger services is a diesel shunter, the BR365, which on this route features as a mainline freight locomotive, running a total of 8 services along the course of the line, collecting stock and performing light engine movements. These services are formed in parts, as they are often held in order to prioritise the passenger trains. A new wagon, the ES50, makes an appearance behind the shunter, forming the sugar beet trains that were once a daily occurrence in the area until the beginning of the 1990s. Though this shunter is on the outside visually similar to the 363, the interior of the 365 has been modelled to reflect the condition it would have been seen during that period. Nice. And the route back to the 1990s. During the 1990s, Germany had renewed vigour at Viga following the reunification of East and West Germany in 1989 and a World Cup victory for the national football team in 1990. The Niddertalbahn comes set in 1992, a year that heard U2's Berlin recorded album Acton Baby play endlessly across Europe and saw a young Michael Schumacher take his first of many Formula One wins. The route, station signage and train services all reflect the period, depicting a time prior to the redevelopment of a number of the route stations and introduction of more modern DMUs. Younger players familiar with this area of Germany may not recognise names like Heldenbergen, Wieddecken, or even the route's terminus at Stockheim, as they have since been renamed to Niederruhr and Globurg Stockheim, along with others. The sugar beet freight trains also reflect the time. These daily services, which would have moved sugar beet off the line to the sugar factory in Friedberg, came to an end at the start of the 90s, making the setting of the route between Bad Vilbel and Stockheim a fitting tribute to some of the final such trains that made their way through the area. In total, 14 stations occupy what is a complete branch line along the Nidder Valley, therefore known as the Niddertalbahn, which is seen at a slower pace when compared to other Train-Sim-World routes and in a high level of detail. Greenery fills the wide cab window of the BR628.2, which with open fields and woodland stretching to the horizon and farmland full of crops between each of the towns and villages along the line. Along the way, players will be encouraged to collect Celtic statues, replace milk bottles, repair broken level crossing signs, and put up posters. And there is also some defining railway features on the route, from the first appearance of animated German semaphore signals to AI services being able to recognise whistleboards and honk accordingly, which I'm very happy about. Train-Sim-World 3 Niddertalbahn will be available from March 23rd on Xbox One, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, 5, Epic and Steam for $29.99 in pounds and $39.99 and €35.99. What does everyone think? Personally, it emits, I suppose, a whole alien landscape to what we've seen so far for German routes, being, well, single track, diesel. Looking forward to it. You guys, comment below. But yeah, March the 23rd, which is next Thursday. Links can be found in the usual places: Discord, PayPal, merch store. Apart from that, thanks all for coming in. Have a lovely rest of your day. Sorry if I have been in a bit of a rush doing this video. I've got to catch the real train in about 20 minutes time. So see you all and take care. Bye guys.